Hello all, it's Brianna here. I hope whoever comes across this video, it resonates with them. So I would like to talk about women's menstrual cycles. I know it's a little bit vulnerable of a topic to be talking about, but I think it's really important to talk about these vulnerable occurrences that we go through, especially because, getting our monthly period shouldn't be such a hush-hush thing. It is a natural occurrence that happens to women every month, and in my opinion, I think it is absolutely beautiful. But I didn't always feel that way about having a period. I used to hate getting my period when I was younger. I didn't understand the purpose of why I was getting my period. And a lot of other women, I'm sure, don't really understand the purpose of why we get it either. I always felt like, oh my God, it's that time of the month again. I'm getting my period. This sucks. That used to be my mindset. It wasn't until probably like 7 months ago that I all of a sudden had this new perception. I kind of learned that when I have my period, it's my time of the month to go inwards. So this happened after I became a Reiki practitioner and I was working at my field placement. So I was finding myself really drained. I was working 2 jobs. I'm in a master's program. So up until like 2 months ago when this whole pandemic happened, I was going through a lot of stress. I had a very hectic schedule. So when it came to my self-care, I started telling myself, okay, when I have my period for that week of the month, like this is my time to go inwards. And that means I'm not going to do Reiki on other people. I'm not going to sit on the phone for hours and be of help to my friends / my family. I'm not going to dishonor my body by doing things that I don't want to do by, for example, when I get home from work that week, I'm not going to force myself to go to this store after work, then go get my nails done, and then go see my friend for 30 minutes. I'm not going to force myself to do those things. During the week of my period, I'm going to go inwards. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to do meditations. I'm going to do more yoga than usual. I'm going to do more things for myself that make me happy, that help me regain my energy. So yeah, okay, so I think of it this way. When I have my period for that week, I am letting go of everything that no longer serves me. I'm going inward and I'm letting go of all those things and I'm forgetting about them. It's like I'm throwing it in the trash. I'm not going to think about it ever again. It's gone. No longer serves me. On the topic of that, there are many women who suffer from polycystic ovary syndrome. So PCOS is something that 1 in 3 women have in America. I used to have it. I used to be a victim of it. And it's not fun. If you're a woman and you have PCOS, it really throws your hormones in for a wild ride. You're constantly moody. You go through fluctuations of depression and anxiety. You're constantly feeling insecure or feeling really great depending on the month. You have, at least for me, I had extra hair than any other person I knew had. I would break out very badly around my chin area. So that's the first reason why I went on birth control. So when I first went to college, this was in like 2014, I was breaking out like crazy, like all over here. It was super embarrassing. And I said to my mom, I was like, I'm not going away to school with skin like this. I'm 18 years old. I have acne like I'm a middle schooler and it's embarrassing. So I wound up going to a gynecologist for the first time. I got a sonogram and the sonogram showed that I had cysts all over my ovaries, and my doctor told me that I had PCOS, but it was okay because there is birth control. There is a band-aid that goes over this hidden disease. So yes, I said band-aid because birth control is purely a band-aid. So I was on birth control for quite some time, probably like 4 or 5 years. So throughout that time, I didn't get my period at all. Weird. Not normal. Definitely not supposed to happen that you just don't get your period for years on end. So I didn't get my period for a very long time. I didn't mind though. I was young and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm in college. I've never hit my period. This is the best thing ever. 2-3 years go by and I guess my body starts to change. So I guess when you turn 21, your hormones in your body start to change. So the birth control that you're on for maybe high school doesn't affect you like it used to. So I started getting like, you know, really depressed and miserable on this birth control. I felt there's a point where I thought I was bipolar, and I was like, why do I constantly feel this way? Why am I constantly going through this wave of emotion? I'm not taking it the same day every day. Some days I was forgetting. I'm working in the city. It's like a whole new world for me. It's the best thing ever. So I started noticing that I was too irresponsible to be on birth control. It was causing me too much fluctuation of emotions. So I decided to cut it out cold turkey. So it was during this time that it was about a year since I underwent my last really traumatic experience that happened in college. Yeah, I was working in the city, and I was finally learning to love myself again. And I always tried to conform to other people and be who other people wanted me to be, or dress how other people wanted me to dress, or act how they wanted me to act. Or I was always a people pleaser, trying to tell people the right thing so they'd like me. And I started to realize I was just dishonoring myself, and that I was creating all these blockages within my energy body, especially within my sacral, my solar plexus, and my root, because I feared doing the opposite of what people wanted me to do. So I had all these blockages in my lower chakras that had to be released. And I had to release the feelings of unworthiness that led me to believe that I didn't deserve a lover. So from then on, I started to get my period again. And it wasn't regular at that point yet. My body had to acclimate itself, because when you were on birth control for such a long time, and your body is so used to being regulated or controlled by some foreign pill, your body doesn't know how to regulate itself anymore, so it needs to get used to it. So that's what I had to do. I had to start at square root one. So I started doing all this spiritual work and this inner work of loving me and my feminine body. I read this book at the time, 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho. I started learning more about who I am. So that summer I found this book called Life Between Lives Hypnotherapy, and it kind of just popped up at me at Barnes & Noble, and I started realizing more about my path and who I was and who I was capable of being, and all this stuff just started igniting this fire in me and really causing me to realize how worthy and powerful I was. So I just kept doing all this inner work. I started to meditate and be open with my emotional feelings and come to terms with who I thought I was, and be more open about my sexuality. So I started, not wearing bras and expressing myself through fashion and clothes and things that made me feel good about myself. Yeah, it was just a really good experience, and I think being in New York City also helped, because there's so many other people around me expressing their fashion, and I met so many amazing women along this time too that were so connected to the feminine body and the divine feminine that it really helped grow me into my divine feminine and realize who I was and who I was meant to be. So it was just crazy how all these synchronous things happen, and how the universe aligned me with all these people to come into my true power and to allow myself to get into this relationship that has grown me into the best person I've ever been in my whole entire life. I've learned so much of who I am. I became so comfortable with having sex and being a sexual human. All these things I always felt guilty about or shameful about, all that went away. The best part about it is that at the end of that summer, when I went to my gynecologist and she did another sonogram, my sonogram said, miraculous recovery. I had no more cysts on my ovaries, and she told me my ovaries looked absolutely perfect. And she said she's never seen anything like that. She didn't know how it happened. But I was able to correlate that to becoming a spiritual being and healing my wounds within and starting to love myself and allowing myself to be loved. For a while, I wasn't always getting it the same week every month. I was getting it either like 2 weeks later or 2 weeks before. It was a little irregular, but I was getting it every month for the most part. I was gifted this little guy. At the time, I didn't even know what this oil was for. I never really utilized it. until I found out it was really good for your hormones. So when I knew I was supposed to be getting my period for that month, I would take this oil and rub it on my abdomen. And usually always like 2 days later, I'd wind up getting my period. So with using essential oils, I used other ones besides this one, but with using essential oils and switching my whole regimen to a more holistic routine, so I ultimately got rid of a lot of the products I was using, a lot of the products that had a lot of chemicals. I changed a lot of my makeup. I switched over my products to a lot of Young Living stuff because they don't use chemicals and it's all plant-based. So it came a lot to switching over all my products, changing my diet, and having food that contained less soy. And I also started really connecting with the moon. So by me following the schedule of the moon and having a diary to keep track of when I was getting my period or how I felt at certain weeks and aligning that with the cycles of the moon, I was eventually able to sync my period up with the moon. So it's interesting what happens to me now. During spring and summer, I get my period during the new moon, so the white moon. I'm more of a nurturer. I'm more connected to my feminine side, connected to the collective and helping others, being more of service. Whereas in the winter months, so fall and winter, I switch over to the full moon, the blood moon cycle, where I become a little more metaphysical, a little more magical, a little more inward. Yeah, so that's just something I've noticed throughout the past 2 years of what's happened to my body. But it's really cool when you start to notice that our bodies actually sync up with the moon, because back in the day, that's how women correlated their periods. They were able to track it by the full moon, and women ultimately would have full moon circles and rituals with other women of circles all going through their menstrual cycle, and it was all circles of releasing and bringing in positive new energy for the new cycle, the new month. It's just super important as women that we're in tune with our body as well as the external environment, because we are women and we are connected to Mother Gaia, so the Divine Mother, the physical. Our bodies are vessels. We are a vessel for bringing a new life to this planet. Carry a fetus for 9 months. You know, we are very powerful. Our bodies are very powerful vessels. So it's important that we nurture and we care for our bodies. Just wanted to talk about polycystic ovaries because I want to give other women hope that it is possible to recover from it, and you don't need to be on birth control for the rest of your life, and you will have children, and you are capable of beating it holistically. And listen to your body and don't listen to what doctors say, because my doctor would have kept me on birth control the rest of my life, and it would have just been a band-aid causing me more problems in the future. So I am so grateful that I listened to my body and that it spoke to me and it told me to listen to it and to heal it and to get off birth control, because it was creating more damage than I even possibly could have known. You know, I'm not saying to just get off birth control. It's bad, because some people genuinely really need it. I just hope I could offer a little hope. I also correlated cannabis, medical cannabis, to helping me as well. And if you look up research, there's actually a lot of research done on cannabis and PCOS. I think one of the biggest ones is eating healthy and becoming in tune with your body. So getting into a state of flow, listening to what your body's saying, hearing it out, loving it, nurturing it. On the beautiful deck that I just got. So I just want to pull a card for anyone who comes across this video. I'm going to pull a card for anyone who comes across this video. This will be a message from your angels giving you guidance for what you need to know in this present moment. So we have count your blessings. This is actually a really beautiful card. It shows someone with a paper. I'm going to say it's a gratitude journal. And it's showing someone, a woman with a gratitude journal, writing with a white feather. So a very pure white, beautiful beacon of light. And she's writing for God, for love. So if you come across this message, your angels are telling you to be grateful for what you have right now in this moment, to count your blessings, to maybe if you've been feeling a little down, or you haven't been feeling so grateful lately, I think the angels are telling you to maybe start a gratitude journal every morning when you wake up. Write 3 things that you're grateful for. Even in the morning when you take a shower, say out loud 3 things that you're grateful for the day, and thank your angels for guiding you and blessing you thus far. So the prayer at the bottom here says, thank you, universe and angels, for the blessings in my life. With this card, the angels are not calling you ungrateful. They're just asking you to count your blessings, because when you count your blessings, more blessings come to you. When you change your perspective and your beliefs on things come to you threefold and abundant. To keep yourself aligned in loving experiences that are only going to bring you positive effects. To involve yourself in loving experiences, because right now, during this time of this crazy worldwide pandemic, it is very easy to go onto Facebook and to get sucked into all the negativity and the bickering and the judgment that goes on there. So your angels are guiding you to tell you to stay in a source of love, because there are 2 spectrums. We have fear and we have love, and we could choose to be on the spectrum of fear, or we could choose to be in the spectrum of love. So if we choose to be in the spectrum of love, we are not only giving ourselves the love in our cup, but then we can give that love to everyone else around us, bringing in more blessings. I hope this card served you or resonated in some sort of way. If it did, let me know in the comments. That would be amazing. That's all I have for this video today. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Give me some feedback if you would like. Let me know what you would like to see, or other things you would love to hear me talk about. And that's it. So it is, angels. Have a great and blessed rest of your week.